Your Sunday severe weather threat just got upgraded, and what has forecasters most concerned isn't the wind or the tornado risk. It's something most people never think about: large hail. Sunday's risk is now level 2 out of 5. That means a 15% chance of severe weather within 25 miles of your location. A meaningful step up from where things stood just 24 hours ago. 4 separate winter storm systems are lined up to hit New England before April arrives. In the same week, your Southwest is shattering 130-year heat records, and your country is somehow doing both at once. Whether you're watching Sunday's hail threat, your 4-storm Northeast snow parade, your record West Coast heat, or the April pattern shift, both models are flagging. Your next 10 days have a lot of moving parts. Here's what today means for you specifically. I'm getting straight to Sunday's upgrade first because your hail risk is worth understanding now. Then we'll work through everything else. Stick with me. Around the 5-minute mark, I'll walk you through the 4-storm Northeast snow sequence both models are showing before March 31st. Because if you're in New England, you do not want to miss this one. And stay to the end for your April pattern shift. Both models are pointing at a flow change right at the start of April that could flip your severe weather script for the entire eastern half of the country. Let me be straight with you about Sunday's risk before we get rolling. Level 2 is the second lowest severe weather category, and I'm not going to overstate what's there for your area. But your Sunday hail setup is driven by cold air aloft lapse rates, a mechanism that produces big hailstones even when your surface moisture isn't impressive. And that's what I'm taking seriously for your area this weekend. Before we get into it, drop your city and tell me, are you in Sunday's storm zone, stuck in your Northeast snow machine, baking out west, or somewhere actually decent right now? All right, Friday, March 20th, your spring equinox, and your severe weather setup is already evolving faster than the models expected just 24 hours ago. Let's start with today, because a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, is already in place right now for your West Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, and western Maryland area. What you need to watch for today: damaging wind gusts and small hail are your primary threats. And there is a 2% tornado probability in your affected zone. Low, but not zero for your region. What's driving your Friday setup is cold air aloft. Even with surface dew points only in the upper 40s, cold air higher up in your atmosphere is creating favorable lapse rates that can produce significant hail. Good news for your Friday: your storm energy runs out after dark tonight. And once your sun goes down, that fuel disappears. So your Saturday morning looks much quieter, and you can exhale a bit for your weekend. Your Friday severe weather window runs from roughly 2 p.m. through early evening across your region. So if you're heading out this afternoon in the affected area, keep your radar app open and know where your nearest shelter is. West Virginia and southwestern Pennsylvania, your area is in the highest probability zone for today, which makes sense given your terrain funneling that cold air aloft energy into your specific corridor this afternoon. Now, here's the contrast that tells you exactly where your country stands on this spring equinox. Somebody in Montana is hitting 80 degrees today, while Fargo, North Dakota is sitting at 10 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. Wyoming is running record warm right now. Detroit is clawing back to 70 degrees Fahrenheit after your deep freeze, and your thaw is finally starting to spread east, even if it doesn't feel that way yet from your northeast. Denver at 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Salt Lake City at 78 degrees Fahrenheit, setting a new March record. Your entire Intermountain West is running temperatures that feel like May, and your mountain snowmelt is sending rivers cold and fast downstream. Here's the spring paradox your country is living right now. Your warmest areas are dealing with summer-style heat emergencies, while your northeast is bracing for its 4th consecutive winter storm system in the same week. Your 90-degree line pushes all the way into South Dakota and Nebraska by Saturday. Summer temperatures in the upper plains on the 3rd Saturday of March, which tells you flat out how dominant your western ridge is. Real quick, West Coast, Arizona, Nevada, Wyoming, Montana, drop your temperature in the comments because I've got viewers at 10 degrees Fahrenheit in Fargo and 112 degrees Fahrenheit in Palm Springs, and that gap needs to be on the record. All right, now the big one for your weekend. Sunday's threat has been upgraded to a slight risk, level 2 out of 5. And understanding why it upgraded is worth your 2 minutes. Your upgrade isn't because surface moisture is unusually rich. It's actually not that impressive. But Cold Air Aloft is creating favorable lapse rates that can produce very large hailstones even in a moisture-limited setup. In plain terms for your Sunday, you could have what looks like an ordinary spring storm day, and then one cell fires up with golf ball-sized hail because of those Cold Air Aloft dynamics. Picture your Sunday afternoon in Ohio. Storm looks like any other spring shower from outside, and then golf ball-sized hail is bouncing off your car and denting your gutters in under 2 minutes. Golf ball hail isn't just about your car. At that size, it shatters windows, destroys your garden in seconds, and injures anyone caught outdoors. And that's what your Cold Air Aloft setup is capable of this weekend. Here's the meteorology behind it. Cold Air Aloft creates a temperature drop with height that lets hailstones grow bigger before they fall, a mechanism that works even when your surface moisture is limited. Your affected zone for Sunday is sections of the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Roughly Ohio, western Pennsylvania, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and central southern Ohio are in your core warning zone. For your practical reference, golf ball size hail is just under 2 inches in diameter. At that size, it leaves dents in your car roof, can crack your windshield, and destroys your garden or outdoor furniture in minutes. Your best action if hail starts falling in your area: get inside your strongest structure immediately. Stay away from windows and don't go back out to check your car until the storm has fully passed. It can restart fast. Your storm timing on Sunday. Thunderstorms form in Ohio and western Pennsylvania first. More develop in southern Illinois and Indiana. Then energy oozes southward through Sunday evening into Sunday night across your area. A shortwave low pressure pops up Sunday evening. That's your trigger. And activity extends into Sunday night into your Monday morning. So this isn't a one-and-done afternoon situation for your area. Picture your Sunday. You're outside enjoying a decent afternoon. Clouds start building. And then one of those hail-driven cells drops golf ball-sized stones on your car and garden before you even get inside. If you're in Ohio, western Pennsylvania, southern Illinois, or Indiana for Sunday, heads up on your weekend plans. And make sure you've got multiple ways to receive warnings, because hail events can develop with minimal lead time. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, western Pennsylvania. What are your Sunday plans? And are you keeping an eye on this for your area? Drop your city and let me know where you're at with your weekend. Now let's talk about your Northeast situation. And I know you're tired of hearing about winter, but just because we're all sick of it doesn't mean your pattern is done with you. Here's your Northeast reality through the end of March. You've been stuck in a pesky pattern for 5 months. It is not going anywhere before April, and your model data is showing 4 separate snow systems before March ends. System 1 is hitting your area right now. That's your clipper coming in today. Heavy, wet snow for your interior New England. Cold rain further south, and some thunderstorms possible this evening across West Virginia. System 2 arrives Sunday morning. Another clipper diving in with a bit more cold air this time, which means your interior New England could see more snow, and your rain snow line pushes a little further south. System 3 is your Wednesday, and this one has a specific number that caught my attention. A 998 millibar low is showing up in your models for Wednesday evening, delivering a quick-hitting snowstorm across your main area. System 4 is the last Friday of your March. Yet another snow event to round off your month. And at this point, your Adirondacks, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine are looking at a significant cumulative total. Your Euro ensemble is showing a strong snow signal through the end of March. Adirondacks, Vermont, New Hampshire, all of Maine, and there's even a signal for a few inches reaching your Boston and New York areas. Here's what makes your Wednesday 998 millibar low notable. 998 millibars is a reasonably strong low for mid-March, and when it tracks through Maine, it doesn't need to be a monster to drop meaningful snowfall on your interior valleys. And for your Boston, Albany, and upstate New York area, there's enough signal in your models to flag now. You could be looking at a few inches of snow from one or more of these systems, even at your lower elevations. Your temperature picture for the Northeast. Models are showing 10 to 12 degrees below average from Tuesday through the end of your March, which is exactly why your snow keeps coming and sticking in your region. If you've been telling yourself, just one more week and winter will be over, Your honest read is that your New England region doesn't get a meaningful warm-up until at least the first few days of April. To put your Northeast snow accumulation in perspective, if all four systems deliver on their current model signal, your interior New England could be looking at an additional foot or more of snow before April 1st. And for your areas that were already measuring 3 to 4 feet on the ground from Winter Storm Iona, more snow on top of saturated snowpack is going to produce runoff and flooding when your warm-up finally does arrive. 4 winter storms will hit your New England before April. In the same week, your Southwest is breaking 130-year heat records. New England folks, which of your 4 incoming systems are you most dreading, and how much snow are you already sitting on right now? Drop your city and your snow depth below. Hang with me here. Your April pattern change is the most important long-range piece of your forecast, and it's the one development that affects everyone in the eastern half of your country. Here's your cycling pattern in plain English. A ridge is locked south and west, and little dips in your jet stream keep sending energy down into your Ohio Valley and Northeast every few days. Picture it like a revolving door. Warm up 4 or 5 days in your area, cool down 2 or 3, then warm up again. And that cycle repeats through the end of your March before something finally changes. Here's what makes early April the most interesting time on your extended forecast. Both models are starting to show a meaningful flow shift right at the start of April that could change your entire eastern weather pattern. All right, here's your April shift I promised at the top. Both models are showing your flow pattern changing from east-west across your northern U.S. to south to north. And that directional flip is a huge deal for your severe weather season. Right now, your storm systems ride mostly east-west along your U.S.-Canada border, keeping the biggest energy in Canada. But when that flow tilts south to north, Gulf moisture surges into your southern plains and instability explodes. Your southerly flow shift pulls warm, humid Gulf air north into your plains and Midwest. And when that meets cold Canadian air still bottled up above you, you get your textbook severe weather setup. Your Euro ensemble is showing a low pressure cutting across the country from southwest to northeast right at the start of April. And that southwest to northeast track is your classic severe weather corridor. Both models agree your April looks significantly more active than March for your plains and Midwest. And May follows the same script, with Arctic intrusions continuing to dive south into your warm Gulf-fed air mass. Your Gulf moisture supply is actually running ahead of seasonal norms for late March right now, which means when that southerly flow tap opens in early April, your instability fuel will be more than usual. Here's the historical context your area needs. When meteorologists see this zonal to meridional pattern flip right at the April boundary, the springs that follow have consistently run above average for your tornado corridor. For your Tornado Alley corridor, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, your April outlook shows above average severe weather chances, with dynamics favoring organized storms rather than just isolated events. Your spring severe weather setup shares structural similarities with 2011 and 2019, both years that produced significant tornado outbreaks for your plains and Midwest corridor in April. Straight up, I'm not saying 2026 matches those exactly. The comparison is inexact, but your anomaly maps share enough structure that it's worth having on your radar as you think about your spring preparedness. Honest question. Looking at everything, your 4 northeast snow systems, Sunday's hail threat, your April severe weather setup, what part of this forecast are you most focused on? Drop your take below. So here's your practical bottom line. Today and this weekend have real storm threats for your Ohio Valley and Northeast. But your second half of March is actually quieter in the middle. Enjoy that warm-up before your April gets active. One more window worth your attention before I wrap up. March 26th to 27th still has both models showing storm energy for your Ohio Valley and Midwest, though placement is uncertain enough that confidence is low right now. Your dynamics are there for a lower-end severe weather day on that Thursday into Friday, primarily damaging winds and hail, but your track could shift significantly before we get there. So stay tuned as confidence builds. Honest read on your March 26th to 27th window. I'd rather flag it early and be wrong about severity than have your area blindsided. When your model runs converge, I'll give you the specific breakdown. Quick drought update your southeastern states need to hear. Exceptional drought in southern Texas, extreme drought across southern Georgia and most of Florida, and your forecast doesn't show meaningful relief through the rest of March. If you're a gardener or farmer in your drought zone, your soil is so depleted that when the rains do come back to your area, your first inch will vanish into the ground before your plants see any benefit. Quick conditions check right now. Phoenix, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Palm Springs, 112 degrees Fahrenheit. Las Vegas, 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Tucson, 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Your desert Southwest on this first day of spring is running readings that belong in late July. Up north, your Great Lakes region, Fargo, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Minneapolis, 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Milwaukee, 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Chicago, 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Detroit, clawing back towards 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Your recovery is finally underway, but it's a slow one for your area. Your Florida has now logged more than 30 consecutive days below average precipitation across most of the peninsula. And your early season heat building on top of that dryness is quietly accelerating your fire risk in Central Florida. Your southeastern agriculture communities need to know that your current drought combined with this warmth is stressing your early spring crops in ways that won't show up visibly for another 2 to 3 weeks, but the damage is happening now. Southeast looking genuinely good today. Nashville 63 degrees Fahrenheit, Atlanta 65 degrees Fahrenheit, Raleigh 69 degrees Fahrenheit, Charlotte 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Your area has the most comfortable weather in the country right now, and your weekend looks even better. Your Northeast today, Boston 41 degrees Fahrenheit, New York 49 degrees Fahrenheit, DC 53 degrees Fahrenheit, Philadelphia 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold and blustery with your clipper moving through, and heavy wet snow is falling across your interior New England right now. Hartford at 46 degrees Fahrenheit, Providence at 45 degrees Fahrenheit, Albany at 42 degrees Fahrenheit, Burlington at 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Your Northeast is getting a full demonstration of why this pattern is called pesky. Not one big storm, but a grinding series of systems for your region. Portland, Maine at 39 degrees Fahrenheit, Worcester at 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Your interior New England is getting your heaviest wet snow today, and your elevated roads and bridges are genuinely slick right now. Pacific Northwest still active. Seattle, 51 degrees Fahrenheit with your atmospheric river winding down. Eugene and Tacoma under flood watches. Your snowmelt plus rainfall combination is keeping your rivers high and fast today. Quick practical list before I wrap up. What you need to do today depends entirely on your zip code. So let's make this specific. West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, southwestern Pennsylvania. Marginal risk is in place for your area today. Keep your alerts on through this evening and have your safe spot in mind if a warning drops for your county. Ohio Valley and Midwest, Sunday is your bigger day to watch. Level 2 risk. Your hail threat is serious. Make sure your alerts are set and you know your plan before Sunday afternoon rolls around. Interior New England. Heavy wet snow is falling in your area right now. Your roads are slick, especially on elevated surfaces and bridges. And you've got 3 more systems to get through before your March ends. Desert Southwest in California, extreme heat warnings are active through your weekend. Drink water before you feel thirsty. Check on your elderly neighbors and stay out of direct sun between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. if you can. Pacific Northwest, stay clear of your flooded road areas. Keep away from rivers running high in your region. And monitor your local emergency management updates if you're near any waterway that was at or above flood stage. Last call. City, current temperature, and what your weather situation looks like right now. Heat warning out west, snow falling in your New England, watching Sunday's radar in Ohio, or a decent spring day wherever you are. Here's where my attention is locked going into your weekend. Sunday's hail setup is the one I'm watching most closely, because your cold air aloft mechanism produces bigger stones than your moisture numbers suggest. I'll fine-tune your Sunday breakdown as your short-range models come in tonight and Saturday morning. what's at risk for your specific area, your exact window, and whether your hail threat upgrades further. And your April flow change is something I'm building toward all week, because when that pattern flips for your country, your severe weather season shifts into a genuinely different gear for your region. Hit subscribe and flip on the bell, because when Sunday's picture sharpens and your April outlook firms up, you want your update the moment it drops, not after somebody else's text 3 days late. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your Friday if the weather is cooperating for your area. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Your March still has a lot of weather left in it, and it is not messing around.